Let's do it.
Yo, what's up, everybody? Well, it is the Outlaw John Rocha here on a special episode of the Outlaw Nation show. So many big announcements were announced today by Kristian Harloff, and while it was happening, I knew I wasn't the only one who could break this thing down and talk about it. Flying in from out of town to be here for the free-for-all. She was planning to be here for the free-for-all, and now all this stuff got announced. Video Drew joining me special and live on this live episode of the Outlaw Nation show. How are you, Video Drew?
I'm doing as well as can be expected. I think I'm okay. How about you? How are you feeling?
I'm doing good. I'm doing all right. I mean,
yeah.
This is all big announcements, and people are like a little bit like worried about what this means for going forward for for the Schmoedown, for the free for all, for the Houston live events, and logically so, because there's a lot going on here today, and people want to know what the real truth of it all is. And so we want to break it all down here and the announcements that Kristian, because was it a 4-minute or 2.5-minute announcement that he announced all the things that are happening for the free for all and the Houston live event and all of that. First of all, what's your reaction to all of this as you came in? And we'll break down all the details in just a second, but what's your reaction when all this coronavirus, all this stuff going on? What was your reaction? Did you anticipate this?
Did I anticipate the coronavirus? Sort of. Only sort of, in the sense that I've been planning for a pandemic my entire life. My dad was my father is a neuro researcher, and he used to research a lot on monkeys in the 90s, specifically during this outbreak Ebola thing. Right. So my dad was constantly being quarantined from monkey bites growing up. So I actually had like a total, call it irrational or rational fear of like this kind of situation happening. And I've been sort of self-quarantining on and off for most of my adult life. So I'd say I was unnaturally prepared for this kind of situation. Like a lot of people say they're like prep for the zombie apocalypse, but no one's being prepared for their social anxiety plus the flu.
Yeah.
But I get why it's happening. I mean, it's such a bummer about a lot of these live events. I know that I kind of had a sense that they were going to be shutting down a lot of things. So I kind of needed to get out of New York really quickly. So I kind of, on Wednesday night, I took a flight out, decided not to my bosses wanted me to fly somewhere for a job, but weren't willing to pay for health insurance. So I kind of said no and skipped out on that.
Yeah.
Which was a weird thing to do, but and then I just took a flight right out here to LA. I didn't really consider the fact that they'd be canceling the free for all in terms of the public coming in. That's such a bummer. As far as we know, it's still going to be happening as a live streamed event in a studio.
Yeah.
So I'm glad I am here for that. It's crazy about Houston. I guess what surprised me was that Houston was called after they called Boston.
Yes.
Boston was supposed to be further down the line, right?
Yeah.
So it seemed kind of inevitable that they were going to have to call Houston, because that's just happening very soon. I just imagine that Kristian really didn't want to he really didn't want to.
Yeah.
So many people.
This is something. This is his baby, and he's a very we're still in this brand new season, trying to make it all happen in season 7, doing the factions, everything like that. He had big plans for the season, or he does have big plans for this season, and of course, something like this kind of throws a monkey wrench into everything, and it makes it I don't know. It makes it makes him rethink, readjust. And he's kudos to Kristian. He's got so many things he's trying to readjust and trying to get in motion that it's just it's inevitability that something was going to come and kind of test him even more, more than people's schedules, more than people's other stuff. There's something was going to come through to kind of really put him on his toes. He's just, God love Kristian, but it does get on his nerves, I know, to constantly be readjusting and adjusting and readjusting. And, and this is this is no slight to anybody in the entire Schmoedown, but moving people flying in and out of the city, trying to schedule these matches. People are busy now with people are freelance, so they're trying to not lose jobs, things of that nature, while they also compete in the Schmoedown. So a lot goes on into it. Yeah.
Oh, well, I have a question for you. Maybe do you that's, of course, it's so sort of frustrating as a competitor, and I'm sure it's frustrating as Kristian. Do you think this is going to impact people who are now like you, like SEN, like Roxy, like a lot of people that are now doing streaming stuff from home? Do you anticipate having more viewers or less viewers, or?
Well, we'll see. I mean, I think when we look at this situation, you have to be well, what's the content you're bringing forward? What's the content you're putting out there? And I actually want to see if maybe we can make a bit of adjustment on this stream, because I want to make my streams unique. I want to be able to interact with fans, interact and hear from them. And so when I do my content, I like to be able to hear from them, and I'm learning how to do that with the StreamYard situation. I paid a little bit extra so that I could have the extra bells and whistles all over this thing. And please forgive me that we kind of came up with this at the last minute, Drew and I. So I don't have Drew's like graphic underneath to let you know where to subscribe to her.
At Video Drew.
Her. At Video Drew. That's where maybe she's got a chalkboard she can write it up on. But I
let's see. I don't have
as graphics friendly as other people that I could put that thing up on there. So
I'm sure Haskell will put it. Haskell will put it in there in the chat
Haskell
somewhere.
Put it in there? Yeah, Haskell.
Yeah, Haskell. Jake. Yeah. So I'm video patreon.com/Video Drew, just like a quick plug. And then also I paid for the bells and whistles of both StreamYards and then also Streamlabs. I really went hard on this. So I'm also at video. My Streamlabs is like a custom URL, which is videodrew.club.
Oh, smart.
So I also anticipate doing a lot of live streaming. I just wonder if it's going to impact, because so many people that are Schmoedown fans and people involved in the community are people who depend on not salaries, but like hourly wages and are part of the gig economy. I just wonder how it's going to affect like this whole sort of ecosystem that we've got going on. And that's a little bit scary to consider, both from the content provider and the content consumer landscape.
Well, I mean, that's competition breeds the best. I mean, like seeing Riley's streams, seeing Roxy's streams has motivated me so much from when I first started. If you go look at my first week or 2 weeks of live streams versus now, it's completely different. And it's because I had to adapt and improvise and figure things out. And I still think I'm 2 or 3 steps behind everybody else, but I'm still in there punching to try to get closer and closer, because I'm trying to generate new content, have good graphics, have good thumbnails.
Your graphics are out of this world. It's like you and Ben are like the two that I feel like I've been watching and being like, God, oh man, I really got to up my game. Like I've got to do better.
Shout out to the Action Army. Jake Yacovetta is the one who does it.
Like I've got to do better.
Like
wait. What is going on?
I like to listen to yourself. I appreciate that. But Jake Yacovetta has been great with me. Let's bring that up for you, Drew. Let's bring that up. There's Drew's Patreon. If you want to go and join Drew's Patreon, thank you, Jake, for bringing that up. Jake's been the one doing the thumbnails. Did the thumbnail for this one on the fly in the last 20 minutes. He's incredible.
Jake's honestly the best. I mean, there's so many people who are like the best in this community. And, and I think like, again, whether or not the Schmoedown's live, whether or not we're doing like it as a live stream, I think we all want to be as involved as possible, because especially since for you, it's like January. For me, it was earlier last year. It's really been the support of this community that has been keeping us going, which is crazy. Yeah.
It's incredible to have that love. Yeah.
And I really do feel, I've been talking to a lot of people in my own Discord and other people's Discords of just about like how crushingly disappointed they feel for not being able to go to the free for all. I mean, not just the fans, but the players. I mean, I know a lot of people were flying in, like a lot of people. I feel like I cheated a little bit, like I cheated the system, so I get to be here while things are still going on, even though I don't technically live here. Oh, thanks, Aaron. I can see the comments. Hey, thanks everybody. So I guess my biggest thing right now is like, how do I continue creating great content? Like it feels like there's such a learning curve of creating great content and learning how to make these graphics and doing stuff. But is there stuff that like, since SEN is going to be done remotely, that have you heard? Like, is there going to be like calls? He said call in for the shows.
Yeah, that's
what
part
I mean.
That's part of the thing that Kristian announced, and we should talk about that. And we'll get to all the other Schmoedown stuff in just a second. But yeah, for SDN Live, Kristian said next week it is going to be a daily show still, but it'll be him from his home doing it alone, in a Q&A format. So I'm going to offer to him if I can, because I live only 10 minutes away from Kristian now. I'm going to offer if I could just drive over and maybe co-host with him on a couple of days, because I don't have that virus. I'm not going to get that virus. I don't think he's going to get that virus. And so maybe we can sit in the room and just kind of like, do that together. That would be a lot of fun, just because he'll be Q&A. Because I mean, Kristian, it's a lot to ask to be to a 2.5 hour Q&A every day. That's a lot to ask of anybody. So hopefully I'll be able to like chime in there if we can. Schmoedown Backstage is not going at this point is not going to happen next week because of it being shut down. So that as well. But I offered in the email exchanges with him and Ben and Kristian, I offered to do it as a StreamYard, like what we're doing now, where me and Ben go on together and we just do a little mini graphic underneath and just do the show anyway, but we're not in the same room with each other. So
right. Did you meet had that idea once too? We were going to do that for New York. We should definitely do that. Like like please just thumbs up in the comment sections if you want to see that show happen.
Yeah, I'm down.
Yeah,
let's
sweet.
make it happen.
You see how I'm just forcing myself to like into everything before the apocalypse happens, because I've been again prepping for this since I was like 9 years old. This is my time.
That's right. Now you're ready.
Yeah.
Well, looking at this, let's break it down. And first of all, I want to let you all know, I think I'm going to put the address into. Hold on. I think I'm going to put the address into the chat. And if people want to come into the chat and like ask us questions, I'm going to bring them into the chat and bring them maybe up on video. So if they've got their cameras up and whatever, then they can come and join us. Jake, if you want to take this address down on the chat as well, and then maybe relay it, and people can
put on some makeup then.
Whatever. You're already on the chat.
I know. Wait, have you not been watching my streams? This is what I do. I do makeup tutorials /
Oh, nice.
Yeah. But they're terrible.
This is the address. This is the StreamYard address. If you want, I think if you want to come on, I will see you underneath here if you got your camera on, and then I'll bring you into the StreamYard and you can ask your question of me and Video Drew about the delays, about everything else. So Jake, if you don't mind taking that down and kind of popping it up every once in a while to let people know about it. I'll put it back up one more time in case anybody needs to write it down and wants to come in, but look for that there. So,
oh yeah, let me get that too. I'll post it on my, I'll put it on my social. So what that means for right now, let's just like be very clear, is that right now, as it stands, there is going to be a free for all, but it's going to be a studio shoot day, and it's going to be live streamed because Kristian kind of has the same idea as the rest of us of, might as well just make everything lives are content now. And then the third thing that's going to happen is because the Houston event's going to be canceled, they're thinking about taking the event and making it at the Globe on June 21st as Collision. And you can have like the ability, I think he says for right now, to exchange your ticket, or if you have a ticket for the free for all, to cancel your ticket or exchange it for the Collision event.
Yes, absolutely. That's
go ahead. Did we know who was playing on the Houston event, or does it
was announced it was announced that it was going to be I think it was announced that it was going to be Kalinowski versus Guy. That was going to be the main event. They had set it up at the end of the Corruption versus Family fight between them. They had that back and forth. So it wasn't going to be for titles any or anything like that. It was just going to be these two personalities clashing in the ring, and then whoever won would get one step further towards having a possible title shot down the road. So, I'm sure you have quite a lot of experience with Kalinowski and Guy, two incredibly loud and strong personalities in the Schmoedown. I'm not one to talk. I'm just saying I actually have never. I met both Kalinowski and Guy. I think mostly after I moved to so that's being that I met them by not meeting them. I met them digitally and I met them not in kayfabe. Like they both reached out to me, I think, like when I was moving to New York. And first of all, I thought Kalinowski was Ben Bateman just under an alter ego. I thought that was like his Finstock thing, because I think they both had to go to the hospital last year, and I saw like both I just got very confused. And I just thought both of them are sweethearts. Like, again, my knowledge of Schmoedown stuff kind of used to begin and end with my involvement in it, which is to say that I had no idea what's going on. Even since, our very first phone call on SEN Live, I've learned so much history and backstory that that puts things in more of a context. So it's been really interesting to see their stuff develop. I literally just watched Guy's defeat of Merle for the very first time. I live streamed that, which was crazy. There's so much I feel like I still have to learn about the Schmoedown, and hopefully we can all learn it together. Well, I mean,
you guys already know it.
This is the time to do it, isn't it? I mean, we've got so much going on in that way. with the content that we got going through here. How much do we have? How much content is there to watch? There's so much content to watch. So that would be fun to be able to do that as well, to catch up on all the Outlaw. I'm sorry, not only the Outlaw, all the Schmoedown matches.
That's just like, can we just do that, John? That'll just be our show. It's just going back and watching every single. It's going to be like a long form version of your documentary.
It would be fantastic, no doubt. And I think I am thinking of doing that for the patron fans, where it's just me doing watch alongs of each one of my matches, and maybe if Video Drew wants to chime in and watch one of those with me.
Yes, I absolutely do.
That would be a lot of fun. We do have a super chat. Let's take a look at this one. It is from Randy G. Overjoyed to see you two collaborating again, heading into the lab, and I'll have to watch later. May you both stay safe. I'm doing my best too.
Yeah. Thank you, Randy. I feel like I'm pretty safe. You know what worries me is the announcement about Snyder not participating, and then also last weekend seeing him in the hospital. That's so scary to me, both for Jeff's sake, but you do remember the last time I was out here, right? And we went to go see a movie, and he was dying, and I kept making these jokes about how I was like, he's definitely got the coronavirus, which at the time was like nothing that anyone thought that was going to be happening here.
He sniffs central, and sometimes you don't know what's real and what's not real with Jeff.
Yeah.
But from what you told me,
he was so sick. Yeah.
He was so sick. And I think it's a smart thing for him to remove himself from the free for all. What's there to be gained? If there's not fans in the auditorium, his like entrance kind of loses a bit of its flair, and his presence kind of loses a bit of its flair. He was so great last year coming in as, the Eli Roth character.
And the Bear Jew.
Yeah, the Bear Jew from Inglourious Basterds. So to not have an audience to play to, that's not really Snyder's thing. So
that's why he's not doing it.
I think that's part of it. But the other part, of course, the most important part is him taking care of his health. And I, as a massive fan and friend of Jeff Snyder, I think he's doing the right thing as well. Looks like your camera's been disconnected, Drew. Oh, there you go. You're back on. All right. Can you hear me? I can't. I don't think I have any audio from you.
Here we go.
There we go. All right.
There we go. Yeah, we've got this fly-by-night situation. I'm staying with Nerd Chronic right now. The amazing Nerd Chronic. But I have a Mac that I brought with me that is now crapped out. I have I'm teaching myself PC or gaming computers specifically so I can do Twitch, YouTube, the whole thing. It's just it's such a mess right now. But I love that I'm focusing on. I mean, that's the thing. It's going to be kind of like a snow day. It's going to be a pretty long, for people our age, I'm not trying to minimize anything bad that's going on here, which is all terrible. But a way that I think about it that helps me panic less is we're going to treat this like a very long snow day or like a very long sick day and or a sick week from school. Everyone's off. And so when I think back of the 2008 writer's strike, so many interesting things came out of it. So many interesting projects, so many people's personal, pet projects that they decided to start as a whim during the 2008 writer's strike blossomed into some really creative and weird content. All of which is escaping me right now, except for a very strange couple horror series that I really like on YouTube, which I don't think is going to be interesting to anyone. But I feel like right now is a very interesting time because the Schmoedown is already such a remote thing. It does affect people who are just all over the world living in different time zones. A lot of this stuff is remote. So I feel like there is maybe an opportunity here to collaborate more, to build out more storylines, to do more live streams for people to interact a lot more with their favorite Schmoedown people. And the Schmoedown people are going to be, I feel like, probably more available as we're all stuck in our homes. Everyone's Patreon tier is going to go.
I hope so. I hope so. I'd love it. Let's one last thing. The Streamlabs here from Brandy Parker sent it in, said just support. Well, thank you, Brandy. Appreciate that. That's awesome. Let's bring in our first guest. Let's see here. Looks like J-Dog's up in here. Let me see if I can get him to add on to the stream. There he is.
Hey, J-Dog.
Happy birthday, J-Dog.
Hey.
Happy birthday.
How are you, Rocha?
Hey.
Thank you so much. Check it out. In the mail today, a guy from Newport Beach, California, the 2010 Major League Baseball All-Star Game Ball. When the National League broke through finally after years of losing, and they would win a couple more years and then lose more.
I hope you watched that baseball.
It wasn't the used game ball. It's just one of the ones you can get as merchandise. I mean, they use it. They didn't use this exact ball in the game. So, but anyway, Whitney Cummings, the comedian actress, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, she since you can get her text like Sir Paul McCartney. You can get their, they can text you and things like that. Well, anyway, she did the video message for me today. And apparently, she's in self-quarantine because she met up with Tom Hanks 2 weeks before he left for Australia. So she's trying to play it safe right now.
Whoa, that's intense.
Yeah.
I met Tom Hanks, but I met him like several years ago, so I feel like I'm good.
Yeah, you don't have to worry about self-quarantine.
I think I'm good.
But she's just trying to play it safe.
That's cool that Whitney Cummings got it from Tom Hanks, and I might have gotten it from Jeff Snyder. That's an equal amount.
I don't think he has it. He doesn't have it, does he?
No,
He doesn't have the coronavirus.
I don't think so. He was just really, really sick he's being smart.
You don't want that on your tombstone. You don't want that on your tombstone. Whitney Cummings would love to have that on her tombstone. I got coronavirus from a 2-time Oscar winner, whereas you got it from the Insnider.
Well,
you don't want that.
This is kind of the very first joke I think I made to Rocha on Twitter was like, he said he would take me to see the Joker when I was too scared about to go to the theaters for shootings. And I said, I'd love to have on my tombstone, died under the protection of the outlaw. And that's 100%.
Hey, that's not the worst thing.
It's not the worst thing. I keep telling people all the time. Whitney, he got it while he was in Australia. So I think Whitney is fine. Apparently, from what I'd heard, there was a production member on the Australian production team rather, who was the one who got Tom Hanks, and Tom Hanks, of course, with his wife Rita Wilson down there. So they got infected. But I have to tell you, the way he's handling it is some of the best things I've ever seen. Those comments.
What else is he doing? What else is he doing?
Well, he's self-quarantined and she's self-quarantined, but I mean the comments he's releasing, the statements he's releasing, they're very funny, they're sweet, they're serious without being too maudlin, and they're also playful as well. So it's a good combo of trying to
We better not lose him.
Oh, well,
we better not lose Tom Hanks. Yeah. Jake says to check your email, John. He updated some graphics.
Nice.
Yeah,
see
so
a new overlay. Okay.
Yeah. First of all, Jake doing overlays, that's awesome. I need to get some of that. So I guess Tom Hanks is the one that I think drove it home for me.
Okay.
That made it seem like very, very serious. I think before that, even as of I'm not even sure if I should be announcing this, but or how bad this is. But the night before I left, which was Tuesday night, I went to go see 6 on Broadway.
Yeah.
And apparently one of the ushers from that show contracted coronavirus. And so they shut down all of the virus. But I was with a doctor. I was with a ER doctor and his wife. And they said the person wasn't at our showing of it. Mm-hmm. But I was scared to sit next to a doctor during a show. And when I flew out here, I got these masks that I wore on the plane. And I thought this is me being way over. Sorry, is that audio feedback coming from me, or is it?
I think so, yeah. Or it might be Jay if he's got his thing up, his voice up.
I'm good.
Yeah.
Okay. Try to see if it's me. So I found these masks, or I got these masks on the plane, and then I was thinking I'm being a little too insane right now. And then on the plane, everyone was coughing. It was really kind of weird to watch. Yeah. I was wearing this mask, but then I realized the mask was made in China. So how
oh no.
I was like, so the irony here is kind of perfect. I don't know how safe any of us are going to be. We went yesterday, me and Nerd Chronic went to Costco, Ralph's, and 7-Eleven and didn't manage to find toilet paper.
Yeah. No surprise. It's nuts. Well, and I'm not too crazy about the toilet paper thing. Now that everybody's got their fill, next week there'll be more in the grocery store. We'll all be fine, for God's sake. So I think that's the thing. Oh, and one more thing. Bam! There it is. Bam! Video Drew, the new overlay. Perfect for you there. Thank you to Jake Yacovetta for doing that.
And awesome job, Jake.
Jake, what are you doing for your birthday? Before I let you go, what are you doing for your birthday, man?
Let's see. Earlier today, the radio show that I do, we had to have a guest list in terms of people couldn't come in, so they phoned it in. We had people come, do that. We had a psychic on today. She got 7 calls. She usually gets 8 or 9 when she's in studio, but she got 7. We had our movie review girl. She did The Way Back. She loved it. She thinks Ben Affleck, he's not going to win Oscars or anything like that for this movie, but a Saturn Award, she's going to come back and do that. And then I did the coming attractions today with the 2 movies that nobody's going to see this weekend because of the coronavirus in Bloodshot and The Hunt, right? So yeah, I'm just gonna have some pizza and some ginger beer. And by the way, when Whitney Cummings, when she did the video message, I could see a Reed's ginger beer bottle in the back.
I love
and I texted her
Reed's.
back, said, I drink that stuff too. Yeah.
I love Reed's ginger beer. Wait, can I ask you real quick? What do you mean? Like you sign up for a thing and like you can text with Whitney Cummings? Like, can I do that to anybody?
Yeah.
Like,
Her podcast, I think it was the first or second episode. She's done 19. Bobby Lee was her last guest. I just watched that. Well, by the way, when she sent me the message earlier today, I was actually watching that podcast. So it was masterful timing. Either that or Big Brother really is watching. But second episode or third episode, she gave her text number. I said, you know what? Is this thing real or not? And then it was. And she sends messages not all the time. So she's not stalking me. I wish she was, but that's for another story, for another day. But no, you do that, and you get like a recorded birthday message. Yeah, it's pretty good. Sir Paul McCartney does the same thing too. I don't have his number, but I'm going to at some point. He's my favorite Beatle. So.
Oh yeah.
Oh yeah. Well, you got to say that because it's like one or two left, right? It's gonna be. It's like Hannah Ringo, like.
Yeah, Peter Best is
Video Drew is your favorite Beatle.
That's right.
That's true. Very true. All right, Jay. Thanks so much for the question, man. Good talking to you, brother. We'll talk to you next time. Keep watching, please.
Will do. See you guys.
Happy birthday!
Happy birthday!
Thank you.
So wait,
Right.
So I mentioned my audio being low, and that's because I think I tried to change it to see if I was the one getting the feedback. But I hope it's good now.
I think you're good now. Yeah.
Yeah, I'm kind of one of these people that like started out on a base level of everything was fine, and then I started messing with stuff.
Yes.
To try to make it better. And now I have like Streamlabs is like an OBS system that's opening like the same time as Twitch. Go to YouTube, I can't even get like a basic like overlay done because I'm so busy like with 100 other things.
I want to bring something up real quick.
Yeah.
Where is it? There it is. Jake, just let me know. The action guys are busting my balls right now about having to take old jokes on SEN backstage. Oh, really? Both of these guys are giving me shit for that stuff. That's funny. Well, I ain't pretty and young. What can I tell you? I'm a man who's lived a life and he's a grizzled veteran. So, let those pretty boys hang around in their suits. I'm going to do real man shit, I was about
to say, John Wayne wasn't, he wasn't a pretty face that got shot in the stomach and left out for bleeding.
Exactly. They're the Dean Martin to my John Wayne, those two.
Exactly.
That's for sure. Andrew, well, go ahead. What were you saying?
No, go ahead.
I was going to say, Andrew G's next up on here. What's up, Andrew? Can you adjust your camera so we can see you?
Hey, man, what's going on?
What's going on? It's Video Drew and the Outlaw with you, man. What's going down?
I didn't know there was a stream tonight. I was watching. I'm watching this Lock and Key on Netflix here.
So was I yesterday. So was I. Yes.
I like. It's really cool. I'm really getting into it. I didn't think I was gonna like it. But
what episode are you on?
3 or 4, I think.
Okay, because like, are you a big Lock and Key fan? Did you read the comics?
I've never heard of it.
Oh. Wow. So Joe Hill is like Stephen King's son. You didn't like there's that. The guy who created Lock and Key is Stephen King's son, who looks exactly like
son?
Yeah. Oh my God. Wow. Google it right now if you don't know what Joe Hill looks like. Because for a while, I think the thing was because Joe Hill also writes horror books, and he didn't want to be known as like Stephen King's son when he was coming out with I think it was a heart-shaped box or 20th Century Ghost or something like that. One of his first collections. But the fact is, when he showed up to his very first reading, people were like, well, you're obviously Stephen King. Like they're identical looking people. And Lock and Key has been in development. It's weird. It's uncanny. Yeah. I interviewed him once and he said he was Team Hufflepuff, which I think was surprising to me.
Interesting.
And I just finished The Outsider, which was a Stephen King series on HBO. So I thought like jumping over to Lock and Key might make a good transition. Yeah. Although I guess if I was smart, I would have gone to Mr. Mercedes, which is in the same universe.
Right, and the same thing, and Cynthia Erivo playing the same character in that show.
Oh, she is.
Yeah,
so they have the same actresses playing.
Yeah,
the
that's
same
where
kid.
the character originated. Was obviously in the book, but like on screen, it's where it originated was in Mr. Mercedes.
Oh, I didn't know they got the same actress.
Yeah, absolutely.
But so Lock and Key, I really like it so far. It does have this sort of like haunting of Hill House kind of vibe to it. I remember reading the graphic novel, which I think I read the first couple issues, and it was really, really good. But I mean, I feel like half of it, this story is getting a little too like Riverdale-y. Like there's a lot that's like going on with like the high schools and the teenagers. And I get why that's important for building up if you were doing like a cable show or like a show that's on television. It's kind of hoping that like if you have a show that's on streaming, you can sort of cut down the fat or just make it as weird and experimental and like let's not focus on like what the high school is like for these two children kind of thing. But maybe it develops well. They have this very funny joke about one of the characters has a, what does he call it, the Savile Squad, which is
Seville Squad,
and then they have Tom Savile show up as like a guy in the show. Also, like, how lame is that? Like, you have a Seville Squad.
Don't give away spoilers.
It's not spoilers. It's not spoilers to say that somebody has a squad that they named after the guy who did Creep Show.
Did you have a question, Andrew G? Just checking in to say hi to us.
I was just checking in. I don't even know how I got on here.
Neither do I.
Once you click
tweet.
One
tweet, so I started clicking links until I on my phone.
All right on.
And then all of a sudden, I'm setting up a video camera on this thing. I was like, all right, I guess I'm in here.
Welcome to the new post-corona, during Corona thing.
That's right. Let me ask you a question then, Andrew. Did you see Kristian's announcement today about the delay and the postponement of the Schmoedown matches, the free for all and all that kind of jazz? What was your reaction to it if you did?
I did see that, but honestly, I don't really follow the Schmoedown stuff. I'm not like super into it. It's not really my thing, but I check it out once in a while.
Nice. I don't think I've never met you, a person like you. Interesting. Okay, cool.
I've met a ton of you.
No, I mean, I saw his video. I was checking out some YouTube stuff earlier, and I saw it, and I did watch it just because I kind of check everyone's videos, you know.
Are you more of an SEN guy? Is that why you don't watch this? You're more of the SEN stuff, or you?
Yeah, like I was a big Collider Live fan. I've been watching all you guys on Collider for a couple of years, and then I started watching Sen Live after he started that up, and then the Collider video kind of went away. And ever since you guys have been kind of doing all your own things, I've just been like checking it. You know, I watch. I'll put your morning show on every day just because. Where I work, I can watch YouTube videos while I'm working.
Oh, thanks, Andrew. I appreciate that, man.
And
Thank
listen
you.
to podcasts and stuff. So yeah, no, it's awesome. I love. I was just watching Riley's video earlier. I didn't know this was going to be up tonight, though. But
no, it was totally random. Yeah, Drew texted me. Yeah, Drew texted me, and then she's like, "Do you still want to do something tonight?" I was like, "Oh yeah, I guess Kristian made the announcements. Can you do it by 5:30?" She's like, "Hell yeah, let's make it happen." So
I had just woken up.
Yeah, that was it. We started putting this up at 4:40.
Oh yeah, okay.
Yeah.
It's like 9. It's like 9 o'clock where I'm at. I'm in Ottawa.
Right on. Well, thanks for isolating the virus. Thanks to all of you all up there for isolating the virus.
But did they do that? They fixed it in Ottawa. Well, I guess everyone's so spread out. Like they just, you know.
Yeah.
I said everyone's just so spread out. You guys isolated the virus. Is that?
I guess so. I mean,
maybe
it hasn't really hit hard here yet. I think it's just getting here, but
no. They were saying today they announced it
everyone
today.
I know is all right.
Three labs came together and they found the virus. They isolated the virus, so now that'll increase the possibility of getting the vaccine quicker. So hopefully that will happen. So shout out to Canada. Oh, Canada. Thank you so much.
Thanks, Canada. And can I ask you, what do you plan on watching after Lock and Key? Do you have like a list of content that you're going to be watching besides former Collider Live people? And
not really. I just kind of whatever. I've been watching a lot. I got the Samurai Jack Blu-ray, so I've been watching that.
Nice.
That out. I got all these samurai movies on the Criterion Blu-rays. I've been watching like over and over for a while, really getting into those. Just kind of whatever. I jump into Disney Plus once in a while and not really finding anything. I just end up watching Star Wars again.
Nice. Well, actually, I mean, not as a total plug, but over on my Patreon, we're doing a poll that ends tonight about what series you can make me watch that I've never watched before because I have zero interest in it. And I think what was winning last time, the poll closes tonight. I think what was winning last time was the Star Wars prequels. I've seen the first. I've seen the first one, and I saw it in theaters when I was like 14, and I was like, hard pass. So also James Bond is on there, Star Trek. I mean, there's a ton of franchises that I've just never been interested in. Fast and Furious. So if you go over to patreon.com/video Drew, hard plug, and then it's going to be released as a new show, probably pretty soon. I'm still kind of deciding for format, but I figure we're all going to be around. We're all going to be, this was decided before it, but this just happened to be serendipitous timing, but we're all just going to be sitting around looking for content, right? So
or creating it. Yeah, absolutely.
Or creating it or simultaneous watch alongs.
All right, Andrew. Andrew, thanks for stopping in, brother, man. Got to move on to other people. Great to hear from you. And thanks for watching the show, man. Honestly, it means a lot.
No, I really enjoy it. No problem, man. You guys have a good night.
Take it easy.
Yeah.
Take it easy. All right, let's bring in real quick this Streamlabs. Let's see if I can bring it up. It's hey, it's from Movie Fanobi. Hey, John / Outlaw. Glad to see you and Drew team up again. Harloff has the best interests of everyone in mind. I support this. I want all of you to be safe. Best of luck in your matches, Drew. So there you go.
Thank you. Thank you. Movie Fanobi's so generous. That's the reason my setup is the way it is not just because Movie Fanobi and his girlfriend Heather have donated so much in terms of equipment and stuff, but also because they've donated so much like of their time. Like Movie Fanobi will just walk me, like, you know, he'll take control of the computer and help walk me through stuff. His girlfriend Heather sent me, I think, like 25 voodoo dolls that she made.
Oh, nice.
Yeah. Which is like, some people might be like, you know, like be like, that doesn't sound like the greatest, but I'm like, that is the greatest. My fans are the greatest. That's exactly on brand.
So, he continued. He said, Queen of Video Drones met her first Patreon goal. Congrats, dear.
Oh, yes. Nice. Oh, nice. Sweet. Thanks for the Rocha bump. So, yeah, right. I guess that means that there's officially, can I announce it? That means there's officially another new thing.
Nice. Okay. Please go ahead.
Yeah. So that means, well, people really love Video Drew, and well, I'm great and all as Drew Grant. I definitely talk a lot more than she does, and I don't have exactly the same things in my head as she does. But now we're gonna actually have an official Video Drew show.
Nice.
Called Video Drew Reviews, which is going to be starting probably pretty soon now. So we're gonna have both the Patreon thing, which is going to be closing tonight. We'll be doing a series watch along, a franchise watch along, and we're going to have a new, probably pre-recorded show, Video Drew Reviews.
Oh, so, sweet. Smart stuff.
Yeah.
Smart stuff. Congratulations, Drew.
Thank you. Yeah.
Nice. Let's bring up our next person here. You cool with that?
No, I love that there's like, I can't see that there's people, but that's cool that there's people.
Yeah. Sebastian, Fila, what's up, man? How are you?
Everything okay. We just got coronavirus here in Uruguay.
Oh, wow.
Just got here today, 4 cases.
Oh, damn.
Oh, shoot. I'm so sorry.
Yeah.
No, man, are you keeping safe?
But yeah. I work from home, and I don't know. It's a little small now, so it's fine. I don't know.
Okay.
I've heard so many people talking, about like, oh, what's going to mean for the future of working from home and all this stuff. Yeah. I've got to say again, just kind of like how I was overly prepped for like a pandemic. I've been overly prepped because I started working in the like blogging writing space in 2008. So I remember like one of my first blogging jobs was covering the housing bubble crash. And so I've always, for the most part, until the Observer, and right before that Salon and this place Crushable, I've mostly worked from home as an adult. And I feel like this generation is perfectly adapt or equipped for the working at home experience.
Yeah. My dad actually, in his job, they're thinking of sending him home too. So.
Oh, wow.
Really?
Yeah.
I feel like some people must be very lonely about it, but like to me, it makes perfect sense.
Yeah, I'm used to it.
Do you feel like the government there is equipped to handle what's coming with this? Do you feel confident that it can do it, or are you worried about it spreading?
It's gonna spread. The first person has arrived from Spain.
Yeah,
and he went to a wedding. So that day.
Oh wow!
So it's gonna spread. Apparently,
man.
she went to a wedding. Yeah,
Okay.
It's gonna take us all over.
Okay.
I mean,
People are going crazy in the streets, buying things, food, like there.
Yeah.
It's happening everywhere.
Wow.
I think like the important thing is, I was reading something, was it about the Philippines that managed to like isolate all the cases because they like were checking everyone's temperature before they like landed by air or by sea or by land, and they managed to like basically quarantine the island that way. I'm not sure what the what we think what the half-life is for this, or what the like when it's just gestating, like if you have any symptoms. I'm not a scientist, and try not to keep that, but but I mean, I don't know. This is some scary times.
Yeah, there's a travel ban from certain countries. No cruisers, no cruise ships are able to get into the country.
Right.
Those are the measures, but
would you be able to leave? Like, is there something preventing you like from going anywhere, traveling?
I don't know if I can leave here. I can go to anywhere else. That wasn't clear in the announcement today. It was a couple of minutes ago, so that wasn't clear. We're just getting into this, so that wasn't one of the questions asked to the president.
You said you're feeling physically fine. How are you feeling, like, emotionally? How are you handling this?
I'm fine. I'm worried for friends that have travels planned. One of my best friends, she's an architect, and at the end of their career, they travel all over the world. So she is like, I don't want to listen to anything, and I don't want to get news. So I'm worried for her most than me. I don't know. It's scary.
Well, I mean, that's why it's good to be informed. And one of the positives of having, like, you know, I know there are certain people who try to say, don't listen to the media, don't listen to the media. No, read everything that you can, but also trust your brain to analyze what you're looking at so you know the right thing to do. Everybody knows the basic stuff. Wash your hands as much as possible.
Yes.
Purell, sanitize, get rest.
But the sanitizer thing, people are buying sanitizer and hand sanitizer, but they are not washing their hands.
Yeah, right. Exactly.
What the fuck?
Well, I mean, it's very funny. I have this ongoing bit of. I'm not sure.
Come on.
Have you ever read The Stand or seen? I guess this wasn't in the miniseries, but The Stand. There's a whole chapter in The Stand that they take like time. They halt sort of the story of the virus spreading across the world, and they just take a chapter out to sort of pour one out for the homies who didn't die of Captain Trips, but died from like stupid other stuff that they happened to do when no one else was around. Which is 100% going to be me, like locking myself in a refrigerator accidentally or falling down some stairs while no one else is around. Yesterday, me and Nerd Chronic we were in the car and we were paused at a stoplight or like a stop sign, and we were Purelling our hands, and like we just come from Ralph's. We were doing this, and then the car lights started being like beep beep because neither of us had our seatbelt on, and it was like pouring rain. So yeah, to that point, everybody watch it. Don't worry about so much about the hand sanitizer.
Wash your hands.
Wash your freaking hands.
That's the number one thing. All right, thanks, Sebastian. Appreciate you stopping in. We got to get to the next person. Have a good, be safe. Take care of yourself. And
be safe.
Hope none of your family or friends get infected with it, brother.
I hope so.
All right. Hasta luego, hombre. Hasta luego.
Hasta luego.
My mom had the sniffles the other day, so she called me up and she said, I'm going to watch Contagion. And I was like, please don't do that. Please don't watch Contagion. She's like, your father recommended it. And I was like, my family is very weird. Very weird family.
Shout out to Will Watson, who says the wheelman just rolling through saying hi. Saw you waiting, Will. I'm sorry I couldn't get to you, brother, man. We got a lot of people in here, so we're gonna get to everybody as soon as we can. And speaking of which, let's move on to my man Wiley Todd. What's up, Wiley?
What is up, John?
What's going on,
my favorite guy in the world. How you doing?
Same. Say hi to Video Drew.
Hi, Drew. How you doing?
I'm good. How are you?
Good. Very good. Even though you got to be excited, not excited. You got to be happy and bring the positivity with all the stuff going on.
Yes.
You you just got to do that and make the best of it as you can.
Oh, I absolutely agree. Look, I sort of saw the trend of this where this was going, and I decided, even with everything going on, I'd rather be in Los Angeles than New York right now. So like, even though I'm not at my house, even though I'm not, I guess we're self-quarantining or whatever, but I'm like with friends, we're watching movies, like you kind of have to keep positive. You got to remember that so many of us are already always self-quarantining, like always be closing. We're already always be self-quarantining.
Introverting people have been self-quarantining for quite some time.
I mean, it's no coincidence that we all just happen to have like mics and like good equipment and know how to like talk to each other from very far distances, right? Like,
and that's why I'm late, because I'm used to being outside the house. Now I'm learning how to do all this stuff. And your mic is great, Wiley. What is your mic?
I was literally about to ask that.
See, here's the thing. So, John, right when you were starting this, I wanted to get in contact with you because I've been testing mics and doing all these things for years to try to get my stuff going. So this is the best microphone I've ever tested, called the AT2020.
Yeah.
And it's a USB microphone, and literally you plug it in and it sounds exactly like this.
Wow.
AT2020?
Yeah, because I went with the Sennheiser M58. That's what I've got hooked up here, and I'm using an extension that converts it into a USB. Like it connects it into a USB cord that goes right into my computer. But people complain all the time that the volume is not as high.
Yes, mine
they
too.
would like it. So
I have a blue Snowball, a Snowball mic that Movie Finobi graciously donated, and I love it. I just feel like I'm using it incorrectly. These are like I just feel like it's too far if I put it like closer to me, but then it's kind of weird. Yeah.
That was my first microphone, was the Blue Snowball. So it's a great microphone.
Yeah.
What's yours called again? It's called AT
2020.
And what's the do you have a pop? Is that a pop filter you have in front of it? What is that?
Yeah, it's like a $2 or $7 one that I just put on there.
Smart, man. It sounds great.
It.
Like I always want to help people because I've had so many struggles. Like in my whole thing, like I have multiple of these. So Rocha, when you were doing the event, I was going to bring you one, so you could have it. But of course, that got canceled.
Right.
So
right. Well, you can still send it to me if you want. Offline. You can get my email from my Instagram account. You can send me something there if you don't have it already. Absolutely, please.
And I've got an Amazon wish list, and I'm about to put it off.
Yeah, I'm about to drop that next week. I'm always nervous about that because I don't want people to think I'm asking for anything. So, but I'll put it up. And if people want to do something great, but I'm not, I don't want to push anybody or ask anybody for stuff.
Rocha, here's the way I think about it. The only thing I put on there is stuff that helps me do the streams better, that would look better for the streams. And so if people want to donate, the same way that if they want to donate to the Patreon, all that money goes into the production value and donating to other people's Patreons. Like I make sure that is a different bank account. And it goes that I never use that much unless I say something specific, like I want to buy a pizza.
Yeah.
And who wants to help me do that? It actually goes to a separate bank account just so I think for my own peace of mind, I can separate the money I'm getting from this and the production money that I'm getting from this.
That's smart. I want to get to the I've said this before in the Mornings Outlaw quite a few times. I'm trying to build a Patreon. I'm doing more stuff with them until I get to the point where it's making $2 or $3 grand a month, so I can rent office studio out in Burbank. And there's great office studios there for like $1,000 or $1,500 a month, and I can start generating my content out of there. So that's the goal in the end for the Outlaw Nation. I've been asked to go back to a certain outlet to work freelance, but I don't want to do that. I want to create my own shit, and that's the game now for me, the focus, because I think we got a strong message and strong voice to kind of be completely unique and different than the other outlets that are out there.
Look, you're a role model in that way. Like I quit my job this week because they literally were like, we want you still to go to Austin and do all this stuff. And I was like, I'd rather travel. If I'm going to travel and get exposed, whatever, I'd rather do that for my own brand and my own thing. And I think that there has been enough interest and stuff that I'm realizing I can't divide my attention between something I hate and people basically this job asked me that they started referring to me as Sarah in emails with clients, and they said that my name was Sarah now, which is my first name.
Very weird.
Which is really weird. And they were just like, well, Drew sounds too much like a man's name. And I was like, well,
what?
Yeah. And I was like, well, they're like, you risk the consequence of being thought of as a man. And I was like, I quit. It's just not. Yeah.
Wiley, did you have a question, man? Before we jump off, what's up?
Yes. So I was it was my last day of high school, so it was all paranoia. So I didn't go eat lunch or anything. So I kind of just sticked around in the classroom. So I watched a new movie.
Okay.
That was on Disney. Skeptical about, which was a new movie that came out today called Stargirl.
Yes, Stargirl. Jeff John's Stargirl. Yes.
So I was thinking that was going to be another Disney Channel movie, which I grew up with, and I was like, I don't know if I'm going to like this or not.
Yeah.
I watched it and it blew me away.
It's supposed to be damn good.
Yeah, and what it did exactly is there's certain cheese factors about it, but it's also a more grown-up story in a sense, where it's the meaning, you really feel it and the emotional parts really hit you, and it's it takes you in different directions that I was like, this is amazing. And I'm trying to get everyone to watch it because it's wow, I did not expect this. And it just kind of blew me away. So my question was, at your guys' age, because I'm a lot younger than you guys.
How dare you?
Who says? I'm timeless.
So is there a movie that kind of goes to the smaller demographic, like a Disney Channel movie or the younger age animation movies that still affect you at your age?
Oh my God.
You mean so are there like films that we saw as kids that as we get older?
No, like as you're at your age now, is there any movies that you have seen that like appeal to that smaller demographic of the young children that appeal to you and surprised you?
I mean, that's like it's great. I mean, look, Pixar movies are very effective, I think, because of that exact reason. I like always, I like really weird adult stuff growing up. So I've kind of done a Benjamin Button thing. Whereas as I've gotten older, I've like been more and more affected by younger stuff. Like, I don't know. Like I was crying during Land Before Time recently, which I remember is a movie that affected me as a kid. But for some reason, as an adult now or as older now, like I feel like relating harder to movies where there's a lost parent or, somebody's, a lot of these movies deal with being an orphan, which I think as a child, you both want to be like away from your parents and you relate to that sort of outsiderness. But as an adult, you're like, oh, that poor child.
Yeah. Well, I confronted this when I'm watching the what was the most recent one? Jesus, I can't remember. The one was on Freeform, the superhero show, Cloak and Dagger. When I was watching Cloak and Dagger, right? That's like, it's not necessarily made for younger kids, but I'm not meant necessarily for children, but it is meant for younger kids, young adults, that kind of vibe. And I found myself really enjoying that and what they were exploring there with the interracial situation and the high school and everything that was going on with them. So that's about as low as I go. I don't really dive into too much of the too young stuff from where I'm at because I'm too busy trying to catch up on all the other stuff I'm trying to do and review and talk about. So I don't have anything like that. But I mean, we can go old school like Pinocchio. That's certainly made just for kids, but you watch it and it has such a
Pinocchio. You find sad?
Oh my God, are you kidding? Yeah, are you Pinocchio? When he becomes a donkey, when he watches him become a donkey, like that is the most
terrifying.
Horrific. Yeah, that's worse than any horror scene I've ever seen in my entire life. I don't care what anybody says.
Existentially, Pinocchio is devastating because like just this old Geppetto man who like wants a real boy. I mean, that's just really sad. Yeah. I will say that I was in the audience for the Beetlejuice musical 2 weeks ago, and I was bawling my eyes out. I don't even like know what was going on. I don't know what was happening there, but I was like bawling because it's so much like a show that's has to this point has a lot more to do with the cartoon than the actual movie. So it's geared a lot towards the idea of Beetlejuice and Lydia being friends and what they have in common, which is sort of they both feel unseen and there's sort of she's just lost her mother. And I mean, I don't know. I was crying real hard during Beetlejuice the musical.
I like this comment right here. Movies didn't exist when Rocha was young, so he can't answer the question.
No, guys, there was stuff on cave walls that was flickering. Plato wrote about it.
I love the old. I tell you, I respect the old jokes, man. They're funny when they come through. I look younger than everybody who sends them, but I still appreciate them sending the old jokes. Would
you believe that me and Jake Iacovetta are the same age?
No. Jake does not look a day over 25. Thanks for all right, Wiley. Good to see you, man. Thanks for your question, brother, man. I hope
Thank you guys.
And congratulations for graduating. You. Yeah.
No, I haven't graduated yet. I'm like, I got 2 more months of high school, then I'm done. So.
Okay. Well, all right.
You're basically
thank you for advance, and you guys stay safe.
Thank you.
All right, brother. And reach out to me, man. Reach out to
me.
I will. Thank you, dude. All right, that was Wiley Todd. So awesome to talk to him. He came on to my stream when I did the first Outlaw Nation show on Tuesday night, this past Tuesday night, and it was great to see him because he's always been a big supporter of the Outlaw and the Outlaw Nation. So it was.
He does not sound 18 or like 17. That sounds like sounds like a grown ass man.
He's already got the DJ voice. He's good to go. Yeah.
Well, is it the mic?
It might be the mic. It changes your entire voice.
Yeah.
Let's follow our next one. You ready?
Yeah. I'll bring it.
Suge Knight. 3, 2, 3.
What's up, hey, how are you doing?
Hey,
can you hear me?
Yeah, what's going on, Suge? Yeah, we can hear you fine.
Oh, that's great. How you doing, John? Hi, Drew. How are you guys doing tonight?
Good. Good. Just dealing with all the postponements and the rescheduling and hoping everybody's okay with it and understanding why Kristian is doing this for everyone's safety.
Sorry, that yesterday, Eric Nerd Chronic was saying something, and he was like Suge Knight, and he goes, "Well, as you know, like not the real Suge Knight, but like our Suge Knight."
Yeah.
Like, no, you don't have to.
Yeah, I get that all the time when someone goes Suge or you're in jail, and I kind of play with it, but no, I'm not in jail. I'm at home with my kids. My kids' school just got taken down for 2 weeks, and plus their spring break. So.
Eric just wanted to clarify that he has worked with Suge Knight before.
Oh, he has? Yeah, so obviously I'm not Suge Knight. in from jail and from Death Row Records. So
did he
That part
dangle
I
you
was
out the
confused.
window? Eric, did
yeah,
he dangle you out the
yeah,
window?
I did, or no, he did.
He did. And I'm not sure if he's watching from the other room or if he's just listening to me talk very loudly.
He's just having a conniption.
He's saying both.
So what's your question, Suge Knight? What's going on?
No, just wanted to try to lift everybody's spirits. I know everybody's down right now. I wanted to talk about the Magic Johnson Jordan thing, but just talk Schmoedown and just talk about how I did watch your live stream with Chill to Action, and it really did when you were talking about how you were affected by fandom, and that actually really was a big hit on me because I think we do because I am a huge sports fan. And I've not gone after, but I've talked crap about, sport, athletes and stuff like that. And I realized that now how we go at people playing a game, you need to really take a step back and just realize that they are people and they're, they get paid good money to do this, but they got feelings. And I really, really appreciated that when you said that. And also when Drew calls in and talks about how, people getting affected about what fans say. So I wanted to say, I appreciate that, John, and just hopefully, I want to see you win that singles title. I don't know why, but I want to see you have double belted, and then I want to see you probably take on like Mike Kalinowski or somebody that you really, feud with to make it real fun. Because I'm a huge wrestling fan since I was a kid. So you kind of remind me of the Hill Rock, the Hollywood Rock.
Yeah.
That was my favorite version of The Rock. I loved him. Okay. So that's what you remind me of right now. Like you're a good guy, but you still people hate you because you're kind of a dick, but you're not. Right. So I love it. I love it, and especially enjoy you doing the backstage and the SEN and Drew Grant. I really enjoy your character, enjoy you as a person, and I try to pop into your streams when I can.
You do.
I'm a single father, and I'm with my 2 kids, so it's very hard to manage work and do all this stuff, but I do try to support all these people because they're just great. Nerd Chronic, Riley, Roxy, everybody. So I really appreciate all you guys.
Dude, respect to you.
I mean, it's funny. Like I again coming not at this as a wrestling person or a sports person or somebody who specifically knew about the Schmoedown or like even you, John, who like worked a couple feet away from me. Like I came into this with such a different understanding of what the community was and what the show was. That I think I always approached it like, oh, there's this character and it's like cool that people boo her or think she's annoying or whatever. And it's literally only been in the past couple months, probably most recently during that SEN call that I realized like, oh no, I'm falling into that same. There's no like escaping that, taking things personally or letting your emotions come through.
Yeah, no, definitely, especially recently with how to talk about Schmoedown, about how people are saying this person's overrated or this person's not as good. I think people, I mean, it's okay to have good conversation and say, you know what, I don't agree that this person is a mainstay or anything like that. But we got to remember that they do have feelings and they see our comments. They see, I've tweeted at Rocha and he's actually responded. I've tweeted at, I talk to Ben Goddard pretty much every day because I'm a mod in his chat. And so, people you guys do read our stuff. And so we got to be conscious of that. But also at the same time, so you can have your opinion, but just try not to be mean about it. Try not to be a dick about it. And so, the wrestling, I was a hardcore wrestling fan as a kid. I am a big sports fan. And the Schmoedown just kind of fit both of my worlds, which is why I fell in love with it. But I really appreciate you, John, Grant, especially Kristian, Mark, everybody. It's really awesome getting to watch you guys every day perform, do your shows, and do just about all your content. I just really appreciate Ben Goddard. I really appreciate everybody. It's awesome that the call to action. They've really inspired me to try to do some of my own kind of stuff that I try, but still learning. So
that's the game, man.
Yeah,
thank you, Shug. I appreciate it, man. It's great to meet you in pseudo in person here over here.
Well, I was at the draft. I was gonna walk up to you to say hi, but you were kind of pissed off about the 4th round thing, so I sat back down.
I just said hi to you. Don't worry, fans. It wasn't you I was mad at.
I know, but I mean, you didn't look too happy, so I sat back down and said I'll leave Rocha alone and I'll just tweet at him or something. But I appreciate you, John. Appreciate you, Drew. You guys are awesome and a huge fan of yours, and definitely be watching all your content and your matches. And go for the third belt, John. Get that Star Wars belt. Just do it. Who cares what everybody says?
Yeah, I mean, I got to take care of Kevin Smets first in July or June, depending on now with the post.
That's going to be so good. I'm so excited for that.
Round. Yeah, we're trying to make Kristian do it. Kristian doesn't like to do things he didn't come up with, but Smets and I are definitely.
Well, I mean, he is the Vince McMahon of the Schmoedown.
He is.
I mean, he's not as jacked as Vince McMahon, but he is the Vince McMahon of the Schmoedown.
Well, right now you have a unique opportunity that you and Smith both live in LA, and if no one can fly in, maybe it's time to do some of these what if matches.
Well, I need more time for Star Wars. I need more time.
Yeah,
but all of April is going to be Star Wars studying.
But John, I do have. I'm sorry, Drew. I didn't mean to cut you off, but I do have one request, John. When you do another one of these call-in shows, I do want to talk because I've been getting crap about this whole Jordan Magic thing. So I want to be able to talk to you about it, but I need a couple 5 minutes. So when you have time, I would like to.
What's your question? I'll give you a one-line answer, one-word answer.
No. I don't know if you've ever.
Okay.
No. I don't know if you ever heard, but I'll just tell you and then. But I went on SEN and I wrote in and I just said that Magic Johnson is a better basketball player than Michael Jordan, and I have reasons behind it. So.
I think you can make a case. I think you can make a case.
Kate tells me I'm wrong all the time. Me and Kate actually personally talk to each other, and she tells me, "Oh yeah, I know she's from Chicago."
What do you think? She's gonna go for a boy, Jordan. Yeah,
she's from Chicago, but she does that accent. That's not from.
It's
Chicago?
supposed to be a Chicago accent. It's miserable.
I thought that was a Minnesota accent. Are you serious?
Minnesota.
I thought she was doing Fargo. Accent. I thought she was doing Fargo. Oh, that's so funny.
But thank you, John, for letting me come on. I really appreciate it. You're great. Drew Grant, you're great. And everybody in the chat, Jake Yakavetta, you guys are all great. And thank you for letting me come in.
Respect, brother. Take care.
You have a good one. You have a great one. Have a good night.
Bye. Have a good night. I do love how people especially differentiates between Video Drew and Drew Grant, because I have a hard time doing that. People are like, no, okay, this is Drew Grant and then Video Drew. I need help with that because I think that's kind of the trick of it. Somebody recently in the Facebook group, I know that we're not supposed to be on it that much, came up with sort of the same idea I've had, which is that Schmoedown really could use a kayfabe coach, somebody whose role it is to help onboard people.
Seems like a good job for me to do.
Oh, are you
kidding?
Are you not a good job for me to do?
What? What are you? Listen here, rookie. What are you talking about?
I'm talking about the phenomenon that was Video Drew, somebody who doesn't even have to win a game to be beloved by people because she's created her own.
That's the Makuga playbook. What are you talking about?
Yeah, but even Makuga goes by Makuga. He's himself. I'm talking about creating the Outlaw's a really great example. I've had people I hope they don't think I'm calling them out, but the Barbarian and Warfather and a couple people say they were really inspired by what Tom and I did last season. Even Mark Hoyk, who's I think you can see a little difference in his gameplay.
Hoyk is great.
His match, his work this match. I feel in terms of character stuff was outpaced, and also he just did phenomenally.
I agree.
It was really good match. If you guys haven't watched the Experiment versus Final Exam. Lon and Mark kind of go beat for beat in terms of hilarity.
Lon is an incredible character, and so is Mark. Absolutely. Let's jump into some Streamlabs. We'll get to Nate Dogg, we'll get to Garth, and we'll get to the Will in just a second. Let me run through these Streamlabs real quick. This one's first one. Tim Koskuba. He says, "What's up, Rocha and Drew? Hope all is well." I asked this question, the action guys, so I'll ask you all over here too. What was your first concert ever? Mine was a combo of Linkin Park, 2004 Linkin Park, Korn, and Snoop Dogg. Stay safe and healthy out there in the shit. All right, Drew, what was your first concert?
Well, I know yours was actually watching Linkin talk at one time.
I hate you.
Mine was Laurie Anderson when I was about 3 years old.
Of course it was.
Exactly. Of course it was. Laurie Anderson. She was life partners with Lou Reed. She's an experimental musician. She played a lot of electric violin and would use vocoders and had I'm not to say a famous song. She had a song in the 90s or 80s that was called "Oh Superman," and it's about 8 minutes long of almost Philip Glass synthetic, weird atonal craziness. So I grew up on her and Tom Waits and thinking that my parents were listening to demonic entities. What about you?
My first concert was Bruce Hornsby and the Range from the Scenes from the South Side when they were touring with Scenes from the South Side album. And then right after that, it was Public Enemy. It was a whole night of a rap at the Capitol Center. It was Public Enemy, LL Cool J, De La Soul, BDP, and I can't remember who, and I think Kool Moe Dee. So that's how old I am, motherfuckers. That's old school shit. And I went and saw that with a bunch of my friends, and that was a blast. Public Enemy in concert was incredible. And they've always been my favorite rap group, which is why I'm heartbroken about what's going on between Chuck D and Flavor Flav. It was bound to happen. I'm surprised it took 3 decades for it to happen, but you knew it was coming at some point. They're just two completely polar opposite personalities. So eventually that's what happens.
I'm surprised that Flavor Flav has lasted this long, considering like the celebrity, this, what was it called? The whole thing in the VH1, Flavor of Love, that stuff. I mean, that kind of made like a joke about everything, but
totally.
I was gonna say, just because you gave a normal answer. My second concert was No Doubt.
Nice.
Yeah. So that's a normal thing.
I respect it. It's kind of normal.
That's normal.
Real quickly, Streamlabs Kyle Grandinetti donated, said, Outlaw Nation, always love you all. Thank you, Kyle. Chris Hall, Rocha, you're the man. I hope you and Dan kick corruption's ass for a second time. We'll see. My girlfriend loves your TikToks. Are you making more TikToks?
Are you on TikTok?
I am. I only did one. And I was at a car wash and this was messing around. I'm not going to be dancing around this thing. Also, when you going to be on the Action Guys? Well, as soon as they ask me, I think I'm going to come on to do one of their revisits of one of their matches. I think the first match between Team Top 10 and Team Action, we're going to do that. We talked about it, and then they'll come on my stream when we do the rematch, when we beat them. Suge Knight said, just wanted to say hi to Drew and the Outlaw. Big fan of both of you. Thank you, Suge. Good seeing you. And then Chris Hall, Drew, is there a Schmoedown team or competitor you would like to play?
Oh my God. Yes. There's so many, but I would specifically like to get a matchup between Cuckoo's Mess and Tom and Paul and Tom. I think we'd actually,
Yeah.
I think we actually have a way better shot than people think we do. Tom is such a great competitor, and just in terms of sheer knowledge, Tom and Paul are probably like right up there with, maybe someone even like Merle. Like they're just, but in terms of strategy, I know we talked about this before. In terms of strategy, like I think we all saw what happened in the match, and not like the Cuckoo's Mess won our match, but I think in terms of strategy, there was a lot that went on last season that was behind the scenes that involved me figuring out what Tom was going to be really good at and figuring out what our opponents were really weak at.
Right.
And I think that we probably have a shot.
Yeah.
I'm not saying we'd win, but I'm saying we'd give them a run for their money.
I think that's fair. I think you can make that case. We'll see what happens.
Yeah.
If that ever happens down the road. Certainly Kristian wants to do what-if matches. So
and Makuga, of course. Like that's my singles dream is to go up against Makuga because that's another equally probably matched thing. And we're both very good at guessing, which is weird. And also I would terrify and I would terrify him. Like, let's just be honest. Like the mind games of Makuga, that play with Makuga is amazing.
Yeah. Real quick super chat from Haskell 420 Gronkowski to be on SmackDown next Friday night. Oh Jesus! Anything to get those ratings, I guess, at this point. Now that it's going down. And Adelaide Spence wants to know: got any words for Oyama coming up? Yeah, my only words are this: I respect that kid. I was supported that kid when everybody was turning on him last year because I've never had a crossword with that kid. He's always respected me and respected the game in my presence. I know other people always haven't had the best experience with Paul, but I like Paul very much as a person. I think he's incredibly intelligent about movies. It's a shame he doesn't live here, or we'd be doing more things together for sure. So I'm looking forward to playing against him because he had such an incredible run to the singles title, and he did something not a lot of people have done, and that's beat Dan Murrow for the title. And I think I'm the only one besides Kristian who's beaten Dan Murrow for the title. So Paul Oyama is in exclusive company there. And I'm looking forward to playing with him. Certainly not taking him for granted in any way, shape, or form. And off the heels of that loss to Ben, I don't know what Paul Oyama I'm going to get. Is it going to be a frazzled Paul Oyama, or is it going to be a angry and tough Paul Oyama? But that being said,
or gentle, or the gentle Paul Oyama that we saw. We shall see. What have you done anything to prep, or like did you do anything to like prep for that match? Do you have any sense of like what he might play or
No, I think Paul's one of those people that you can't really prep for because he seems to know so much about so many different topics. So for me, the prep has been studying a little bit of everything and then trusting that I have a little more knowledge than he has. Dan has said to me over and over again, because the match is coming up next week. He said to me, and I'm not giving away anything here in terms of strategy. He said to me, you've seen more movies than he's seen in his lifetime. So you got to trust the fact that you've seen a bit more. And if something comes up, you might have the advantage because you've seen a bit more. So that could come into play. I don't know, but I'm looking forward to playing with him because he's one of the young bucks that have come into the league. And I always test myself against the young bucks that grab the people's attention to show that I can still do it. I'm just saying.
Young bucks is a perfect way to put like the, even though I've not even been on for like a whole season yet, I'm like, these young bucks. Yeah. That's I don't usually use the word B, but that's what I call them too.
I mean, last year, Smets, Chance, Oyama, there were so many great young people who came rolling through. Janine did her best, Silvestrini. There's so many great people who've come through as young players. Tom, right. Yeah, absolutely.
Oh, we're like young and new.
Not really young. Yeah.
Yeah, just new. Well, I don't want to like, get you talking too much about your strategy, but do you ever because I know for me what my thing is, when you are going against somebody, do you study like how they put things on the wheel, and especially considering this season and what's been going on with opponent's choice, has it changed what you put on the wheel and what you're looking to put on the wheel?
I think it's a good question. I think I'm an unusual player in that I think I know a lot about movies from multiple genres. So I kind of, as opposed to other players who are younger players and then have to study other categories to get an advantage in terms of gameplay. I mean, like Ben Bateman he's the tactician and all that jazz, but he's only the tactician because he hasn't watched as many movies as some of the older people have. So he has to kind of will the game, like force the game to fit into what he needs it to do. So I respect that he does that, but more often than not, I just trust that I know what I know. I walk into that ring and I do the best I can. And do I put slices on the wheel sometimes certain players to throw them off? Yes. I mean, with Kalinowski, I put classics on the wheel on purpose and 70s because I know those are not his go-tos. And sure enough, that played to my favor when he spun classics and I don't think he got any of them or got one of them. So that helped me out. So yes, nowadays I do study a bit more in terms of their strategy, in terms of their tendencies, but overall, like when I studied for Bibiani,
that's a hard one. That's gonna be hard. Yeah,
that's a really hard one because that's essentially a comparable in terms of knowledge of movies competition. So, but what my girlfriend and I did was we studied all his matches and then saw his tendencies by percentage. And so that's the kind of new tactic. Whenever I need to do that, my girlfriend is very kind to watch all the old matches of whatever competitor I've got coming up, and then she'll kind of delineate by percentage what she sees them spinning away from, what she sees them missing versus what she sees them getting. And that kind of helps strategy wise for me because I'm more of an organic player. Like I think Dan and Ben kind of like try to strategize the game. I just flow within the game, and if I can win, I win. And I guess maybe that's why people don't revere me as much as they do Dan, or they revere my strategy as much as they do Ben. But I win, and I've won 4 titles. So
where are those guys' documentaries? I don't know. I don't know if that's exactly true. No, I think I've done or I've not done or whatever. I've coasted so far on the idea of, and I would like to see how I would do in another singles match, because here's the thing, like I played Brendan in the semifinals, right? And like, you could say that Tom carried me as much as he did during last season, but I also played Brendan in my only singles match and I made him go to his 5-pointer.
Yeah.
So like, I'm not, I just don't think I know what my own strengths are. So I always look towards opponents' weaknesses and just assume if I can throw them enough, then like, it doesn't, it won't really matter what I get.
Yeah.
Especially because everything seems to be opponent's choice these days. If no one knows what you're good at, then,
Yeah, that's true. Well, let's bring in our next person. That's Nate Dogg. What's up, Nate? Thanks for being so patient.
Hey, it's all good, man. What's up, Drew? How you doing?
What's up?
Good to see you. Good to see you, Rocha. Man, this has been a long time coming from me. I've been a fan of yours since you took over for Kristian on the Star Wars pod way back in the day, man.
Wow,
you showed up then.
Yeah,
man. It's been a long time, man. A long time ago. Which, by the way, I agree with Shug. Of course, I agree with Shug, man. We need to get you back in that Star Wars game, brother. You need to get up in there, man. I want to see that. I want the other shoulder's a little empty over there, man. You need a little something. You know what I'm saying?
Right up there, to put it right up there. Yeah, next to it. Yeah.
I know you're a big wrestling fan. Sorry, Joe, we're gonna get to this for a second, but I know you're a big wrestling fan. Oh no, please! I'm gonna get to you in a second. Anyways, you're a big wrestling fan, and I know that talking about reinvention and character, and Drew, you're right on the money. You guys need a little more kayfabe up in there. I'm a big wrestling fan, and I feel like you, Rocha, are like the Jericho almost of the Schmoedown now, where your character can evolve into something a little more awesome. I think it's time to move on a little bit from the Outlaw. and make him a little more, evolve the character, maybe get a little heelish on there. But
they were good. Listen, the heel turn was going to happen last year if we had lost to corruption. That's for sure.
Man,
that'd have been.
I saw that.
I was gonna say I'm stepping down. I'm leaving, and people were gonna think I was retiring, and I was gonna say no. I'm leaving the Horsemen. I'm tired of carrying these fools across the finish line. I blah blah blah, and I was just gonna turn full heel and go full outlaw heel. And my goal. And if I don't know if I'll be able to do this, if I ever turn outlaw again, I'm going to be like the real dick outlaw, which is like, I'm going to start selling like brands and put like brands on my boots, like logos and shit.
Or you should do all black. You got to be like, what's his name? Ed Harris in Westworld. Like, you just got to be just like totally, kill you need.
Like old school, like corporate outlaw. So like people would buy to put messages on me and shit like that because I don't care about the game like that anymore, and all I care about is me and making my money. That would have
you've done the Hollywood rock. Time for corporate rock.
Yeah.
Exactly. Evolving,
you also like need to create like a fake company, like so, like you should probably get like another competitor who's now like endorsing you. Like, is there like a guy we can just pretend is really rich and like just be like, brought to you by
like an Outlaw Nation.
Brought to you by Wildberries, Silicola.
Drew though.
That'd be great. Yeah.
I gotta ask you, Drew. I know I love your character. I love everything that you do. You've come on the scene and you've really hit the ground running with that. Although I love that. I don't know where you're coming from. I don't know what you love. I don't know what your stuff is. I was gonna ask you though, like, do you have a preference over regular kind of competition or geekdom, or are you more of like a Star Wars? I know you're big into horror.
I'm big into horror, but if anyone saw there was a horror exhibition match that William Bibiani asked me on to last year. And I'm not going to spoil it, but I will say that I did not do so great. But I love the questions. I think Mark Andreyko and either Clark Wolf or Rachel Cushing, they might have been Clark, wrote the questions, and I loved them. I love inner geekdom questions, even though I'm not always going to hit the ones because of the topics they cover. But I love contextual questions because it involves having to have seen the movie, and I'm always much better at things that happened in the plot or quotes. Or moments like, how did so-and-so escape from something instead of like, what year did it come out? Because for me, like, I live very much in the the diegetic world of the movie. So it's really hard for me to, even having watched a movie 100 times, tell you like, what it was up for an Academy Award, who it was up against, what year it came out, the composer. I'm better at composers. But mostly, I have a couple real strong strengths that I've never revealed and I've never put on the board before.
Don't tell me. I don't want to hear it.
No, but I would really love to see as either an exhibition match or something that comes up organically that someone like I spin opponent's choice and someone gives me this category thinking I would suck at it.
Yeah, awesome.
Yeah,
I can't wait. I want to play her one of these days, video, Drew, and just to mess with her the whole time while we're playing.
Oh my god,
man,
it's like 90% of Drew. Yeah, you know what? I think I'd like that. Except that one of the things that I know as a strength of mine, I now know from talking to you, Rocha, would be a strength of yours. So I know that I can't play it. So,
but I think you guys might blow away the whole competition because Drew versus Outlaw, that's characters and that's wrestling that's all over the place. Like everybody else would be like, oh great, now I have to be a character now. You guys would destroy it. So. That'd be fantastic.
Especially because I feel like me and Rocha have like a very good dynamic chemistry. When we did that, our last one, we called it like True Grit.
Well, like you said, Drew, I thought the same thing. Like you two are the only two like true character like actors on the show. I love it, man, being a wrestling fan. You Drew, not knowing anything from wrestling, like you take that character thing and you run with it. I love it.
She does, doesn't she? That's why I enjoy her.
Oh man.
I'm not an actress. I'm not a performer. I did nothing before Schmoedown, but
I think you stumbled into it.
Yeah.
I stumbled into it and my God, do I love it. I'd say, Andrew Guy is up there also for me though, because
of course. Yeah.
But that line is blurry. That line is real blurry with Guy.
It really is.
And Outlaw, I need you to put him through a table for me. just put him through.
Oh, trust me. One of these days I'm going to get my revenge on that. Trust me.
Yeah.
It was funny the other day. We got to jump off. There's still other people here. Nate waiting behind you.
Oh yeah, sorry.
But no, real quick. Somebody pointed out Schmoedown backstage the other day. They sent a message to Ben. They said, Ben, what's it like to be on Schmoedown backstage as the only person who has been put through a table by Drew Guy? When me and Ben were on there with Drew, and I thought that was brilliant. So.
That's great. I gotta say, I know you don't have no power, guys, or Rocha, you have no power over this, but I live in the San Jose, San Francisco area, right down the street from you guys. I'm a little bit disappointed that no Schmoedown has come our way, or no kind of live competition has even been near the area, like I'm surprised about that.
I mean, I think it's always about if you can rally enough people and show, like get a whole group of people together, like over 100 people, then you got Kristian's interest. That's how you do it. Trust me on that.
And also, it might actually make sense to do something like closer. I get why the instinct is to go away matches, because the whole point is to introduce new people to it. And if you're closer by, then
of course,
whatever. But it might actually, it might actually make sense to have, because I know there's some other Californians.
There's a big Bay Area following over here. Like we have our own like little page where I've talked to people, and there's a lot of interest over here. So it totally work out.
I like it, Nate. I would love to.
Anyways, man, love talking to you guys. Thanks so much for the time. I can't believe I got on here.
Thank you, brother. Great to see you. Take care.
All right, guys.
Rocha, I think this has to be a new daily show until the coronavirus is over. Our new talk and call-in show.
I love it. If it was making thousands of dollars, I'd be down.
Come on, let's make those thousands of dollars, yo.
Make those thousands. Let me do some quick Streamlabs, and I'll get to Garth in just a second. Chris Scorpio, he said, Oyama has softened his look in an attempt to become more of a face. Judging by the comments on his last match, it seemed to have worked. Also, Lon Harris is amazing. He was the star of that match. Absolutely.
Amazing.
Those two are a dangerous combo. That's for sure.
Did you see them talking that much to each other? Like I couldn't tell. No. Both teams didn't seem to. I didn't seem like they were conferring very much with each other.
I think they were all nervous. I think everyone was nervous to try to do well.
Yeah, but I mean, like in terms of like when you're going to answer something and whether it's going to be correct or incorrect, like conferring with your teammates super important. I mean, right? Like I don't think I've ever been swayed away from a correct answer by conferring with a teammate. But just in terms of who's going to answer and what they're going to say, you always kind of need to talk to your partner.
Yeah, that's true. JJ Winward said, "Hey, y'all, sad I had to cancel my free-for-all trip, but I'll be putting that money into Streamlabs as Patreon for both of you." Video Drew, have you and Nerd Chronic started on those 21 Jump Street questions yet?
Hey, Eric. Yes. We started on 21 Jump Street yet? I'm not. No. Yeah, we're gonna start that. We're gonna start that real soon. Hey, thanks.
Stop being lazy, Eric.
Stop being so lazy, Eric. Eric's just. I just come over his house. He's just chilling out, eating peeled grapes.
He never invites me over. That's fucked up. All right.
He literally lets anyone over.
Chris Scorpio said, what you said about Bateman is true. He doesn't have that overwhelming knowledge base, so he has had to master the strategy aspect of the game. McWeeny, Irwin, Whitney, Seibold have relied mostly on pure knowledge. Dan and Sam were equal at both. That's for sure. I agree. And by the way, it's not taking anything away from Ben's approach to the game. Not. Just saying Ben has a different way that he does it.
By the way, do you think sorry, not to interrupt, but do you think studying for do you think being good at this means having seen that many movies? I think the Ben strategy of memorizing dates and stuff like that, I think that's a very effective technique, as good as anything else in terms of learning knowledge. Watching this many movies to try to round out your knowledge base might actually be a not good use of time.
That's why I want to say this, and I've said this to people, and people are always shocked when I say it. I have never watched a movie for the Schmoedown. Never once.
Really?
I have never once watched a movie for the Schmoedown. All I ever do is study what I need to study, remember the movies that I know really well, but I've never watched a movie like, oh, I haven't watched this movie, I should watch it for the Schmoedown. I've never pushed to that extent. Other people are watching hundreds and thousands of movies to try to get knowledgeable. But for me, I've already done that.
That's so funny. Because my thing is I refuse to study note card. I refuse to do anything that's nerd shit.
Oh yeah.
So I refuse to study note cards, but I will watch movies because my movie knowledge is not as good. I'm a TV person. So I'm if I didn't if I didn't want to watch the movie the first time, I'm not going to watch it now just to win a match. That's for sure. Well, it's definitely more I want to expand my horizons in terms of movies. I mean, I'm sure this has happened to you where you know an answer based on having watched or been in previous Schmoedowns.
Yes.
That's happened to me, I think, especially when the one match we played this season where I knew a lot of answers of questions of movies I haven't seen just based on the fact that they've been asked already.
Yeah.
And I don't know if I would rather have watched the movie. I guess.
Yeah, fair. Two last ones, and we'll jump in. Everybody who's waiting for me. Chris Hall said, "Are either of you going to see Bloodshot? I'm probably going to enjoy the fun action movies, especially Ven. I don't know if I want to risk coronavirus to go see Bloodshot, to be honest with you. So maybe not that one.
I think Netflix and Amazon have a really unique, and A24 and all these places have a really unique opportunity now, right, to release stuff earlier or to release stuff on not straight to video, but straight to streaming, and then like do closer maybe to Oscar time, do widescreen releases. Because right now people are just at home. You have a captive audience. It's like being on an airplane. Like, give your content. Like if it's ready and if the post-production's done, then like put it out there in the world right now.
Totally. One last one here. Jim Sandlin, here's a start to your $1,000. Baba Booey. Nice little Howard Stern reference there. Baba Booey. And then one super chat here is from Prince It Wasn't Promised. That was me with the table comment. LOL. Oh, thanks. I appreciate that, Prince. That was funny.
Prince It Wasn't Promised. Is that reference to something that I don't
yeah, isn't that a Harry Potter thing or something?
The Half-Blood Prince?
Maybe. All right. Here we go. Boom. Garth.
Hello.
Garth, how are you?
All right. Supposed to be out of bed, man.
It's not a bed thing. It's a pain thing. So I'm not sleeping. And while I was in the waiting room, I did a little doodle.
Oh, dude. Thank you. That is awesome.
That's beautiful, Garth.
You motherfucker, put that on paper and send it to me because I will put that up everywhere, man. That's incredible. Thank you so much.
Garth, by the way,
whiteboard.
Garth is my Cronenberg hero in the sense that he's actually living like a Cronenberg movie out there. We once had a live stream that went till 6 a.m. where we just looked at all of Garth showed us like some of his scars and stuff, and it was it was crazy, man.
Wow. I overshared. I shared like photos of surgeries and X-rays and scars and
Saul was like
wounds.
Saul was on the stream, and I think that's the first time we've ever seen Saul like blanch. Like Saul looked like he was about to throw up.
He turned yellow.
Yeah.
There was one after a hernia surgery. I had this open wound for months.
It was like
it looked like a mouth. It looked like a little mouth. And so I showed a photo of that, and poor Saul was like.
Yeah.
Well, Saul's a wuss anyway, so no surprise he couldn't take it. True. Yeah. I said that. Saul.
Yeah. Saul. Okay, is he in here? No, Saul's a buddy man. But you're feeling. But I mean, it's a pain thing, and I know that sucks that the pain medicine doesn't touch it. But you know what? It might be for the best because the opioid crisis and shit in America is so bad because it's not a question of
Yeah, I still have oxycodone, but it's a nerve pain. It's a different, I've had broken bones, major surgeries, all sorts of stuff, but this nerve pain is this intense, lightning type thing.
Yeah.
And gabapentin knocks it from a 10 down to a 7 or 8 for a while.
I thought it was the toxin. It's gabapentin that's helping.
Gabapentin is what they gave me. And I do have oxy, but I take that rarely. Even after surgeries, I'm not a fan of relying on it.
Yeah.
And I've lived a life of pain, so I kind of I'm one of those silent pain guys that's just like
I'm the opposite. I've lived a life, or especially of the last year where I've been in a lot of pain from car accidents and stuff, and I have some nerve things too. And what really sucks about it is the way that people just kind of are if they can't locate it, if they can't see it, and they're like, it's not real pain.
Oh yeah.
They can't, here's just some oxycontin, that's not helping. Well, too bad. That's for pain.
Right.
We x-rayed you and everything looks fine.
Everything looks fine. So
I love when they say that. One last thing, this one here, it's a play on the prince that was promised from Game of Thrones. That's
right.
Thank you for clearing that up. Mark, do you have a question for us, man?
Well, I was wondering with all this new stuff with the coronavirus and, with free for all and things like that being affected, you are one of those kings at live events. When you're involved in a live event, that's you really shine with promos and all that. So, coming up, how long do you think before they'll start doing live events again? Will it be months or the end of the year?
Well, Kristian said that he is trying to reschedule the Houston live event to April 25th. So that's a possibility there.
That's true.
I'm
not
sure.
No, June 25th for Houston, right? April?
The Houston live event, what he says is April 25th. He wants to reschedule the live event at the Globe
on
on June 20th and turn that into the Collision. That's what he is looking to do right now. But he did say something that he's moving the matches that were supposed to be at the Houston live event back to a studio shoot day. So I don't know if there'll be different matches now at the Houston live event than there were going to be with the Guy Kalinowski match. So I think that's what he's saying. So I think he's doing that 30-day thing that most of the leagues are doing right now. The NBA, same thing. They're taking 30 days right now, suspending operations. Then they're going to revisit it in 30 days and see what happens. So I think what Kristian is hoping is that this will die down in 30 days, and then we'll be back in motion and going from there. So that's the plan.
Darren's question was right. Wasn't Houston supposed to be April 25th?
Oh, I thought it was coming up in March.
No, that's free for all, I think. And then April 25th was Houston.
Yeah.
And then I think that's been moved to a studio match, and then they're looking at June for the Globe at Collision.
Oh, there we go. That's what he meant. Okay.
Hey, I did my research.
Nice.
But no, not to piggyback off of John's thing, but like I was so looking forward to doing my very first live event. Like I really, really was. Yeah. And it's a real bummer that I won't be able to be I guess it's like I was gonna be doing the free for all, and I was really excited about. I didn't even think about my entrance, just the idea of being in front of people, how well I would do in terms of lights. You never really know. I think the studio is a little bit different. I can't imagine what it's like to be in front of all those lights, but I would have liked to. I really would have liked to find out. So
yeah,
hopefully.
Yeah, and as I live near Boston, so I was looking forward to the Boston event in May, and when that got pushed off because they couldn't find a venue, now it might be September. But now with all this stuff, I'm kind of like, all right, well, I'm glad because they might have had a May event that they might have had to cancel anyway. So
yeah.
Do you think this will affect any like belt titles or anything like that? Which I know they like to do. Is no.
Nah, I don't think so. I think Kristian's really good that when you're the champion and you hold the belt, he's very good at trying to make the schedule work for you so you can attend it. So it's only at a last resort that he will strip you of the belt. Like what he did with Sam Witwer, he had to do because Sam said, I'm not going to be able to defend it at the consistency that you would like me to defend it. And I want to respect the game. And so I'm giving the belt back to the Schmoedown. And so that was out of respect. So he's not about stripping belts or affecting people's titles chances.
I meant more like in terms of like, if like aren't belts usually in their public they're in front of audiences, right? Like in front of like for fan stuff. Do you think it affects your gameplay to be playing that kind of game in front of a live audience, like a big audience?
To me, I live off the live event. So
depends on the competitors. Yeah. I mean, you look at certain competitors and they get flustered. Emily Rose Jacobson, I think, performs better in studio.
Yes.
Certain competitors do better in studio versus live.
Although to give Emily some credit, I think also I have a new hot take that spinning opponent's choice is less stressful than spinning spinner's choice. Yeah, absolutely true. Because opponent's choice, if you don't do great in it, well, hey, I mean that's the luck of the wheel. Spinner's choice, you have to really like. You can't have been playing the game that I usually play, which is just let's see what your opponents are bad at. You'd actually have to know your strengths and know them well enough to know that. And know your opponent well enough to know that they couldn't piggyback off of you getting anything wrong.
Yes.
So
what you're saying to me is if we play each other, I can just go ahead and say Drew chooses opponent's choice. She thinks it's the easier one, so then I will be able to pick a category.
You know what? Go ahead. Go ahead. Give me opponent's choice, man. Way over spinner's choice. Give me opponents over spinners.
Okay. Done and done.
Yeah.
And to cut back to the Sam Witwer, I've shared a little clip. He live streams on Twitch.
Yes, he does.
And I was one of these guys that kept pestering him. When are you coming back to the Schmoedown? When are you going to do one more match? You got to face Damon. And so he replied to me, and I did a little clip of it, and I've shared that with people where he made it certain he is never coming back. He's like, no, because then they'll want me back for one more and one more.
Well, you gotta play out. Just when I was.
So he's like, no, I make Star Wars. I don't want to do trivia, Yeah. So he made it perfectly clear. Sam Witwer is not coming back.
No, he's not. He's not. No. Well, Garth, it's great to see you, man. I hope you feel better, brother. Hope you recover soon. Thank you, man. And you got to shave that beard off. I'm gonna drive my balls across your face, son. So.
Yeah, all right. You manscape and I'll facescape, you know.
You're back in the hospital for that one. All right, let's move on.
This doesn't sound very hygienic at all.
Take care, my brother. I love it.
Don't do that. See ya.
Sure.
All right, let's move on to our last one, Drew, because I got to wrap this thing up. We're past the 7 o'clock hour. I got to get on out of here. What's up, RDG? 124. What's going down, man?
Hey, John, Drew, how you doing?
Good. Thanks for your patience, brother.
Yeah.
Oh, no problem. You know, Drew, I'm quite new to your content, but I just subscribed to your YouTube channel.
Oh yeah, cool. Thanks, man.
I don't know if you got this, but you know who you have a resemblance of Kirsten Dunst. Has anyone tell you
No,
that?
I've never gotten Kirsten Dunst before. I get a lot of people, but Kirsten Dunst is not one of them. Do you see it? Do you see it, John? Do you see the Kirsten thing?
I kind of a little bit, but yeah, I could see that.
Oh,
Just say, Just say,
I would love to be. I would love to be married to Jesse Plemons. I would love to be married to Jesse Plemons. Like, no joke. Jesse Plemons is my hero.
Really?
Yeah.
Wow. Okay.
Oh yeah. Ever since Friday Night Lights, and he is talk about like a character actor who can play real fucking creepy and weird. That's my type.
Oh yeah.
Can you be really creepy and weird? And I love that they met on Fargo, which is like the new place where couples get together, because that's where Mary Elizabeth Winstead and Ewan McGregor met.
Yeah.
And so John's, and by the way, I think that's maybe one of my favorite roles of hers, if not my absolute favorite roles of hers, was on Fargo.
She was great on Fargo.
She was crazy. Oh my God. I can't wait for the new season of. I can't wait for every show to just become, or every movie that's big right now, like Parasite, and when they do Snowpiercer as well. I can't wait for everything to just become like Fargo. Everything's just going to be a. Like,
I haven't seen Snowpiercer yet. Is that pretty good?
Oh my God. Snowpiercer is the best.
I haven't seen that yet. I mean, I always come across from that, you know, when I'm scrolling, but I was like, should I watch it today? Should I hold off on it? So
it's badass, dude.
It's badass. It's hilarious. It's got like, what do you call like a bottle episode of a movie? Like, I don't know what it's like. All takes place in, I guess technically in a lot of locations, but they're all in a train. The fight sequences, if you like that fight sequence in the original Old Boy, where like he's fighting a guy, like all those people with just a hammer and it's that one shot, then imagine like that kind of shit, but on a train.
Oh, yeah,
it's multiple compartments as you move forward.
Yeah, and it's so good, and a lot about class. I'm now realizing a lot of his movies are a lot about class.
All right, I'll go. Yeah. I'll definitely check that out. Then
definitely,
I'll pull the trigger on that. John. Yeah. Oh well, for both of you, I just came from Costco today, this morning.
Yeah, we did that yesterday.
I live in Pacoima, so the Pacoima Costco is known to be one of the less busiest Costcos in the LA County.
Yeah,
you know, it's by Silmar, so because I live close to there. So I was there an hour early, and the line was around the building.
Yeah,
I thought I was a winner. You know, I was all parking my car until I started pulling into the driveway. I'm like, oh no, and then so I started walking all the way back to the building in the line, and they told me the first guy who was there was waiting until 6 a.m.
Wow,
that's a 4-hour wait. And the interesting thing that I heard that they told others was that the early bird catches worms, and you just got to be willing to do what no one else is willing to do.
That's like, but see, that's such a dangerous way to do, because if you watch what's happening in LA right now, when you watch the live streams, people have to stay 100 meters away from each other, even when queuing up for stuff. Getting, going into these big box stores and like, doing a supermarket sweep, that's a really good way to like get sick.
Oh yeah. I mean, back to that, they were doing a real good, the Costco and the staff. There were like 5 police squad cars there.
Wow.
Right in front. Fuck? Yeah. Just to make sure things are going smoothly. Yeah. So, but they did a really good job because they allowed 10 in. And then when they saw a bunch of people come out, then they allow another 10 in. Yeah. And when
10?
Like 10, between 10 to 20 at a time. But then they also have to, the enter and exit. They also see how many people are exiting. And then they also put, okay, now you can come in. So just to control the traffic.
I think that they always do that at Costco, right? Don't they always do the little clicker to like let you?
Yeah, no, but not for people, not for like keeping you out. They do it more.
This is by the entrance, right in the entrance. They actually tell you to come in. And
can I ask? Were they out of toilet paper and water where you guys were?
I was able to get it. There were like hundreds of people in front of me, but I was able to get it. But you can only get one toilet paper, so I get Charmin. Yeah, I get Charmin.
You were allowed one thing of water or 2 things of water, 1 thing of toilet paper, but but the things were empty, like the rows.
Oh yeah, I failed on the paper towel because they were all sold out. You're able to get soap, but only one, because the big soft soaps they come in 2 packs, so you can only get one. And eggs, no limit on eggs, so I stocked up on like 3.
You're out of eggs.
Oh my god! So my fridge is full, so I was able to.
I gotta say, I thought yesterday we were gonna do like a fun jaunt. Like me and Eric were like, yeah, let's go get supplies, and then like after Costco, we were forever changed.
Yeah.
Wow. Yeah. You just gotta be there early, and I advise you to go there like on a Monday or Tuesday at like 8 or like an hour before, then you'll win. But I know you're running out of time, but
I gotta jump
say something, John.
Yeah, what's up?
I'm just curious about SmackDown tonight. I can't wait. I know people on the East Coast are already watching it.
Yeah.
But I think it's gonna be really. I hope it's gonna be really funny, because then you could. The commentary is just gonna be like over exaggerated, especially with no crowd, and they
try to oversell it. Yeah.
Yeah, they're probably gonna oversell that, and I think that's gonna be really funny. So we'll see how that works, and we'll see how WrestleMania. If WrestleMania is gonna be the same way, I can't believe they haven't even come to a conclusion yet.
You sure? Vince, you can't believe it. Vince let a guy die in the ring, and this kept going with the paper.
What?
So
that's the Owen Hart.
What?
Yeah, Owen Hart.
Yeah.
This happened in the late 90s, Drew, late 90s pay-per-view called Over the Edge. Owen Hart fell 78 feet to his death in the ring.
What?
They were attending to him medically. They got him out of the ring. They took him to the hospital. And instead of canceling the pay-per-view, Vince McMahon went ahead and fought all the matches and all the way to the end.
And he still wasn't. And at this time, I'm assuming, just like now, he was not paying for anyone's health insurance.
Oh, no, he was not paying for anyone's health insurance.
No, not at that time. No way. I don't think until now either. But
I think he's not now.
Yeah, the wrestlers are really concerned, though. Right, as what's going to be going on. And now it's like, are you sure you really care about your staff and your wrestlers and your talent? Because
I'm pretty sure he doesn't.
Yeah, because they released a statement and it kind of contradicts itself.
Well, yeah, because he says, 1999 Over the Edge. That's right, Paul. Thanks for that reminder. Yeah, and Jim Ross announced his death on the air. And yeah, you're right. This is why Vince doesn't want them to get unionized, because if they get unionized, then they can protest this kind of stuff. They can have an issue with this kind of stuff and say, we don't want to fight because we could get virus until everybody's fully tested. But they haven't done that, and that's always the issue when it comes to the WWE. Oh my
God,
and
that's crazy.
They say they care about their wrestlers, but they always see their wrestlers as expendable. And that's why they only let the real big company men like Cena or Hogan or The Rock or whatever. Those are the only ones that really get fully successful in WWE, because they're willing to do anything it takes to get there, and they're willing to swallow their comments so that they can stay at that status of top level in WWE.
I want to bring up one quick thing that Jake is saying in the comments of Vince didn't have to give them insurance because they were employed as contractors and not full-time employees. Well, I guess we're all like finding out that this is like America has adopted, unsurprisingly, I guess, considering who Trump is friends with. America has adopted this model of contracted employees as opposed to people that deserve health benefits. It is nuts. That's literally why I just left my last job, because they were like, you have to go do this. We have a startup culture mentality. And I was like, oh, that means that I have to go take trips and put myself in danger with no health insurance or anything.
I mean, I don't want to say too much, but a certain place I just worked at is the same thing. It was basically a mom and pop operation, no HR, none of that kind of jazz. Your loyalty was constantly questioned. If you didn't go to a screening, or if you didn't want to do something, you were constantly questioning whether your loyalty was really to the company. If you wanted to go do something else, like go and guest on another show, you were turned down. If you weren't the chosen one, you were turned down and told that if you did that, then you would be looked on unfavorably by the company. So
at the very least, though, I mean, at a certain place that you and I have worked at some point or another, at least the health insurance was an option.
It was an option. Yes, it was. Absolutely. Yeah. But
so
the exchange for it was certainly difficult.
Yeah, absolutely.
Anyway, that's good. All right, brother. Thank you so much for
Thank you very much. You too.
Thanks, man.
Thank you. Keep up the good work. Video Drew, I'll check your stuff out.
Thanks, man. Gotta give you more Kirsten.
Yeah, definitely check her stuff out. Drew, thank you so much for joining me.
Gotta wrap
up here. Any plugs you want to do?
Yeah, so I guess we hit this Patreon subscriber thing, guys. That's so awesome. So patreon.com/videodrew. I think there's a couple hours left to vote in the polls about what franchise you're going to make me watch. And I don't really want to watch it. And because we hit a subscriber goal, we are also going to be starting Video Drew reviews, which is going to be a pre-recorded. It's going to be a recorded show. It's going to have some more production value behind it. It's going to be awesome. I am going to probably do a stream tonight, probably around 9 p.m. PT, watching old matches, and maybe me and Nerd Chronic playing. I'm not sure if you know this, John, but me and Nerd Chronic have a game that he started, which is sort of deep cuts on individual movies. So it's like 20 questions about individual films. Nice. So we did a La La Land one yesterday that I failed on completely, but I gave him a pretty good Beetlejuice one. It's really fun. We're starting this out as a fun thing, but it's actually awesome to get a chance to write questions. And
smart. Okay.
Yeah.
That's great.
So that's it.
There you go. All right. Well, thank you all so much for watching this special episode of the Outlaw Nation show with our special guest, Video Drew. Like I said, we came up with this at 4:40 and we were on the air at 5:30. So I can't thank you. I'm
adaptable.
Yes, she is. And I can't thank you all so much for joining us. Please remember to follow me on the social media at The Rocha Says. And if you have any ducats left over from donating to Video Drew's Patreon, please come over to my Patreon and see all the multiple tiers I have on there. I do have a $500 tier where you can come on and be on the show with me if you want. And we do a whole show together talking about anything you want to talk about. So,
man, I feel so good. I got that for free.
From $1 to $500 are all there over at the patreon.com. And like I said, I got to put some goals up in there because I do want to be getting some office space and renting out some office space to build the Outlaw Nation more and more, and then start that website so I can have people writing articles for the Outlaw Nation about entertainment, sports, media, and lifestyle and tech and all that jazz. So
make one of the tiers like Video Drew and John have a show. That's just like, or if you're donating to John, just make sure that that's in the comment there. That's for the Video Drew and Outlaw show. Yeah.
Perfect. All right. Thanks to all of you for joining us. And thank you so much to Jake Yacovetta for moderating this chat and also for the overlay he put up here for Video Drew.
Yes. Thank you so much, Jake.
And also for the thumbnail he did. So fantastic. All right, Video. Take care, girl. I'll see you soon.
Yes. I'll see you soon. Hopefully.
We'll
definitely.
See you all soon, on our separate streams. Take care until then. Peace.
Bye.